You're listening to American Slacker Podcast.
We can say fuck.
With Matthew Gertz and Jesse Landers.
I don't care, I've been smoking, this is cool. That's a decent amount of sausage. This man needs a doctor! Yeah, I just hope they're tasty. What's up with these clowns, man? Cut the lights and went through people's pockets.
Don't you point that at each other.
Let them smoke a little. You need to step it up to that point. We're not gonna lead with the.
We're not gonna lead with that.
So yeah, early morning this morning. Another early one tomorrow. I fucking drove up to San Jose at 7:30 and got there by 8 something, almost 9, and saw a place. Now the San Jose area is very competitive.
Yeah, it seems so from what you've been telling me.
Yeah, we looked at a place the other week and it went the next day. We went to turn in an application, they're like, oh, it's gone.
Ha!
So you got to be on that shit, and
You gotta keep an eye on that shit and move on it immediately.
yeah. And the weird thing I've noticed is they like to double up on their apartment showings, which creates very awkward situations. It's like you and another person are sitting there waiting to look at the same place.
Fucking bidding wars on an apartment.
Yeah, and you just feel like you can't ask as many questions as you want and stuff. And we encountered that the last couple places we looked at, where they had another person there waiting. So you're just sitting there waiting for the property manager to come around, and finally they do, and you're just like, "Hi, we're also here to see the place,"
Yeah.
And it's like what we were talking. Me and my girlfriend Marley were talking about it, and we're like, what happens if both people want it? Would he fight to the death in the living room, and whoever comes out alive?
This is Sparta!
The person that arrived first gets it. What is the rule there?
Right? So that's what happened when we went to look at this place, and we decided after getting screwed out of a bunch of places that we were going to be the aggressive ones this time.
Not playing anybody's shit. I
No.
like that kind of motive.
I took the reality TV game show mentality. I'm not here to make friends.
I'm not here to make friends.
I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to make friends.
Ah, nice.
I am not here to make friends. I'm here to get a fucking apartment.
Yeah. Every couple for themselves.
Exactly. You can't worry about where they're finding a place. They'll find it eventually. That's not my concern. I'm worried about where I'm sleeping.
You'll find your apartment, just not this one.
It ain't this one. So yeah, it was super awkward though. We went in, I immediately just started looking around, opening up cabinets and being like, oh, there's a lot of storage, blah blah blah. And we were talking the lady up, and she's super nice. So that should
making
fare
yourself
well.
at home.
Yeah, and the thing that did these people in, they didn't have a pen. So when it came time to fill out the applications, we're like, we'll take applications right now. We're ready to fill them out. My girlfriend whips a pen out of her purse. They are like, oh, we want an application too. And they took it and they just stood there. They stood there with nothing.
See, you gotta bring the binder, ready
All
to
the
write
info.
it out. Here you go, ready to sign right now. Let's fucking make this deal.
Yeah, and it was weird. As we were sitting there filling out, there was one awkward moment where the landlord left for a second, and then it was just us and them, and we're sitting there filling out the applications. And the guy was
grilling them periodically.
Well, he started asking me, he's like, when did you call her? And I'm like, motherfucker, trying to figure out timelines here. I'm not about to play my hand. I was like, we called her early yesterday. Plead the fifth. So yeah, I was like, we called her early yesterday, and he's like, oh, okay, so did we. It's like, you aren't getting this place, man. I'll take you to the Thunderdome and
bro.
back.
How early? I get up at the crack of dawn, motherfucker. I'm a cricket.
Down to the second. Let me know. So yeah, and eventually he just seceded. He waved the white flag and was like, all right, I'm not. He literally said I'm not gonna take this place anymore. Don't worry about it. And they left. I'm like, ka-ching!
Oh,
that's
shit.
how you force someone out of an apartment you want.
So maybe going at the same time isn't awkward if you can capitalize on the situation.
You just gotta have the I'm not here to make friends mentality.
I like that. It worked out. I believe this method could work in other scenarios very easily.
It's how you win game shows too.
Hell yeah. Well, despite the move, the show must go on.
Yes.
And welcome to another episode of American Slacker Podcast. As always, I'm Matthew.
And I'm Jesse, on the move and feeling the groove, forcing people out.
Jesse on the run.
So, speaking of continuing to put these podcasts out, it's the big 5-0.
Yeah. It's kind of like an anniversary, just like a number, though, I guess.
Episode
It's not
50.
like a year. We're almost at the year. But we've decided we're going to do a crazy episode for our year.
We're going to figure out something
The 1 year
really
anniversary.
awesome to do for that.
I'm setting us up for failure, man. I'm making it seem so hype. We're going to have to really work on this.
That wah, wah, wah. So, we'll bring it big on the year one, which I think it's in September. It's really weird because we have done so many bonus episodes that we're like kind of ahead on the curve, because 52 should be a year technically, but we're gonna hit 52 in 2 more episodes.
Yeah, not a year yet. We still in the summer.
As we always like to say, recommend this show to a friend, and we always like to tell you to go check out our Facebook and our Instagram. We're always posting really funny stuff up there. We got our funny clips of the week every Wednesday on our Facebook page, just funny little things throughout the week on the Instagram.
Hell yeah. And check out the Patreon. We have new gifts constantly on the works. We're going to let you inside of our personal lives once we get more subscribers. And basically right now we got titles, shout-outs, and you can play Xbox with us on the 4th Saturday of every month.
Speaking of, we have a shout-out to give. Crime Roulette Podcast, always supporting our show. We want to give them the big hey there up front, because they're a sponsor of our show through Patreon, and we really appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Now, what do we got coming up, Matt?
Well, in this episode, of course, we wouldn't have it any other way but starting out with our bizarre news. Then we're going to move along to some movie suggestions, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about the return of Game of Thrones.
Ooh.
And then we'll wrap it up. We got a couple of podcasts that we're going to recommend on our sweet tweets.
So, with our bizarre news, we always like to start out with a little bit of weed news. This time we're talking about Colorado. Now, Colorado was the first state to legalize for recreational weed, and it's fared pretty well for them in terms of their revenue coming out of it.
Yeah, it's a perfect model state for arguing legalization in other states.
And I mean, I'm sure there's like issues that come along with it, just like any adaptation to the laws. There's a little bit of adjusting period, but they've made $506 million in retail sales since beginning on January 2014. That gave them a decent jump.
A ton of money.
It gives them a decent jump ahead of like a lot of the other states that have legalized recreational, like Nevada, who did it in July, and Alaska, who opened last year in October. But we're slated to have California, Maine, Massachusetts, and DC all legalized for recreational. So I'm hoping that economic model sort of works for these states as well, and they're able to profit as much as they do in Colorado.
Yeah. I'm sure it increases tourism too, because it's only still not even half the country will be legalized when the next 5 do. So it's going to increase tourism to these states, revenue in all general ways. Yeah.
And I mean, for all the stoners out there who are thinking like, oh, this is going to make weed so expensive, Colorado only applies a 2.9% sales tax on sales, and then they also get some of that revenue from licenses and application fees.
Yeah, that's nothing compared to general sales tax in New York, which is like 7 and 8.
Yeah, and this article we'll be sure to post up on our Facebook page on Mondays, like we do with all of our weed articles. That way you can read through it if you want. If you're interested in educating yourself a little bit on the revenue maker that is marijuana.
And what goes along better with weed than tacos? Please tell me.
You stump me. I really can't.
I mean, I guess that's kind of a bias, but we're taco people over here at American Slacker.
Oh, for sure.
In our next story, we're going to talk about a taco shop. Basically, in Los Alamos, New Mexico, birthplace of the atomic bomb, by the way, we have to mention. A man faces charges after he apparently threatened to pull a gun on a taco shop employee for giving him the wrong order.
That's a severe overreaction, I'd say.
Is it, though? You need your tacos. You got a gun. You might as well, flex it a little bit, I think.
Just flexing on them, I guess. If they did get your order wrong, you should get your correct order. shouldn't come down to having to pull a gun to get your burrito supreme with
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
with
it should've
sour
came to this
cream.
point.
You know, you forget that sour cream, you're liable to get shot.
Oh man. Yeah, I guess it is a pretty harsh world when you can get shot over some tacos. This all occurred at Rigoberto's Taco Shop. Coincidentally, it's near one of the nation's premier weapons labs.
Ah. He's like, I'm going to go down the street, get one of these hyper rifles.
Oh,
One of these
futuristic
laser cannons.
I'm about
blast
to
this place.
vaporize your ass.
So that's a bit of an overreaction, I would say.
Yeah, the 48-year-old, he was booked at the Los Alamos County Detention Center and is facing disorderly conduct and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Damn.
Yeah, so he's gonna do some time for his overreaction.
No tacos in jail.
Yeah. I hope
Hey, wait, Taco Tuesday.
I don't know if the prison system allows Taco Tuesday.
He's like, hey, man, you forgot my lettuce. Ain't no lettuce here.
Ain't no lettuce in jail, motherfucker.
Start shanking people. So, I mean, that's a bit of an overreaction. In our next article, we have another overreaction coming from a priest who's pulled a pistol, a priest pulling pistols on people. I was trying to keep going with the peace thing. He pulled a pistol on a driver in a road rage incident.
Priest is packing.
This 35-year-old priest pulled a gun on a couple after he was like swerving and stuff. The normal road rage type of incident. Except it ended with him, sticking a Glock in their face. And guess where this happened?
I'm gonna say Texas.
Florida.
Oh, I should have known the trouble state caused it. I was just feeling like the southern religious, feeling to it. I don't know.
Yeah, anytime I'm saying where is it, it's probably Florida.
I should have assumed.
The driver of the pickup truck tried to go around his car, and he pulled the gun, and they stopped. He ended up being arrested and put on $15,000 bond for pulling a Glock on someone. It's never worth it.
No. Most cases where you pull a gun, it's not gonna.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be good.
he said it wasn't loaded. He's like, come on, it wasn't loaded.
Come on. It's an inanimate object.
It's just a prop in his eyes, but not someone you're running off the fucking road.
Continuing with the road rage, we have a out-of-control Lyft driver in our next story. Now, in New Jersey, apparently a Lyft driver had been weaving in and out of traffic, causing a ruckus, and then he got stopped, in a bus lane, and apparently a minivan wouldn't let him, cut out in front of him.
He's got places to be, fares to get to.
This 22-year-old Lyft driver gets out of his car and starts, harassing the other car when the guy that's driving the other car gets out, and he's a bigger man. And then they get into a tussle, basically throwing a little bit of a couple punches, and the big guy throws the little guy. And the little guy, clearly knowing that he's outmatched, decides to go into the passenger seat of the minivan and grab the man's 12-year-old miniature pincher named Daphne, and then throwing her to the sidewalk about 25 feet away. Through the air.
Not Daphne.
Poor Daphne, man. And it's ridiculous, this clip. We gotta put the clip up. I mean, this is almost video of the week type deal. But
yeah, it was borderline about to be the funny clip if it wasn't horrible animal abuse.
It's all taste and humor, honestly. Now, before you get a little upset, Daphne walked away with just a few bruises. She's fine. No serious injuries.
Even though the lady in the video screams the dog's gonna die.
Yeah. Well, he throws the dog, and then the dog, goes walking around, walking back to the minivan, trying to scoot around the fucking guy that threw her.
It's not. Don't go after the animals. You gotta fight fair. Tossing dogs.
That poor little dog, especially an older dog like that. God,
right?
What is that in dog years?
14's pretty old for a dog.
12, but still.
12?
That's
okay.
fucking old.
Yeah, that's still really old.
That's a senior citizen you just picked up and threw.
I think it's
25 feet.
84.
That's like taking a human and throwing them like 80 feet. Like,
Would you throw your grandma from the passenger seat?
Yeah. Oh, that's horrible.
So
Leave the grandmas alone.
Fuck this guy who threw the dog, but man, that video is one of the more outrageous things I've seen in a while.
It's ridiculous. There's a thump when the dog hits. I really thought the dog got thrown into another car.
Yeah, and
This
it's all
careless bastard.
it's all being filmed by like probably the two best camera people we've ever seen because their commentary is hilarious. It's probably half of what makes the video.
Get back in the car!
Get back in the car! Ah, the dog's gonna die. Dog was fine, everyone. That's why you can laugh at this. If the dog was murdered by this road rage incident, that'd be the first time I ever heard of a dog fatality in a road rage incident. It's like, that poodle cut me off.
Lyft is claiming no responsibility, saying that he was off duty when this happened.
He got fired,
will no longer
though,
be
right?
working. He will no longer be working for Lyft.
Get out of here, you dog-throwing bastard.
I was gonna say, we don't hire dog throwers around here.
They're gonna have to put that on their applications now. It's like, have you ever thrown a dog in a road rage incident? It's like, why do they have this question? It's like, it's a long story. They almost got sued.
Yeah.
It's like, shit, well, I have to check yes, you know? Not me, the application dude.
Yeah. That guy was filling out the app.
So maybe everyone should just calm down after you get off the road, have a beer.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's a great way to chill the nerves.
And in Australia, this man decided, I need to bring my beer with me on a flight, but not with me in my hand. I'm going to check that shit as luggage.
Just like loose, like a single like bottle
Single
or
can of Emu export beer for Western Australia, which I kind of want to try now. If we can get any Australian listeners to send us a can of beer, I would appreciate that. DM us and
would be cool.
We'll make that happen.
Hell yeah.
We will
Exchange
reimburse
even.
you.
We'll
yeah,
send you some.
send you something.
We'll send you something we personally select.
So, an Australian man, he shared the saga of his single loose can of Emu beer that took a flight from Melbourne to Perth with him under the plane as checked luggage. He uploaded some Snapchat videos of it being like loaded in and like shipped to the back where all the luggage goes with a little caption that says greatest moment of my life. It's like, all right, first off, let's step up the standards. I hope your life's a little bit better than that, but it is pretty cool. I will give him that. And it made it. He has another video of him receiving it, and it's just one can along with like the luggage coming out. It's pretty funny. I didn't realize you could actually just ship like a straight up can of beer with yourself.
Yeah, I really want to know how much you paid to check that thing.
It's probably like the normal luggage costs like $25 to ship the can. That sucks.
Oh man, you could have just bought like a 12-pack when you got there.
And the man joked, not all emus are flightless, because it was an emu beer.
Let's check that beer and head over to Saudi Arabia.
Can you have beer in Saudi Arabia, though?
I think no. I think that's actually dry.
Well, if you're rich enough, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Believe that were the story where the rats were drinking the beer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
they had to steamroll all the liquor.
And there's an issue in Saudi cities right now with street sweepers that aren't really street sweepers. We got a lot of pretenders and posers going on. They just act like they're doing the work and they're not. And they're getting paid for it. Now, traditionally, street sweepers in the cities will earn around 500 rials.
Okay.
I don't know. Is that how you say it? Rials?
I'm not sure. I wasn't familiar with it when I was looking at that article.
Well, I looked at it, and it's basically
Arabia.
3.5 rials or an American dollar.
Okay.
Yeah. So they get paid, around 400 rials a month, and it's a pretty grueling job. Like it's an 11-hour day, 6 days a week.
Damn.
And you're just out there in the streets among
getting paid shit,
rats and shit, getting paid shit. But on the other hand, they pull in like an extra anywhere from 700 to 2,500 rials per month in tips because people that are passing by will feel like they're doing their duty to the city type deal, so they'll give them a little charity.
Okay.
So they can make a lot of money. They make a lot of the times more than they're getting paid per month through tips alone. Similar to a lot of the jobs in America, driving or waitressing like we were talking about before.
Yep.
And so basically, so you have people stepping in, and they're just sitting on the streets, like, acting like they're sweeping, getting the tips, pulling that in. And they're not doing shit.
Damn. Just sitting there collecting.
Yeah, just holding the broom and, you know, acting like they're taking a break real quick. But they're just breaking all day.
So if you want to make some extra money, you got to fly to Saudi Arabia, grab a broom, get a street sweeper's outfit, stand on the corner, and then go to the exchange place to change it back into a third of what it
Even
would
then,
be
though,
for
man.
American currency.
Say you're at the top end, you're making 2,500 rials, like, per month,
Okay.
right?
So I'm rolling in it.
You're making like $850 American.
Per month?
Made more than that
Damn.
at high school, like,
Yeah,
working
that's
part-time
true.
jobs.
But I mean, at least that would be enough for them to try and get by, because it's like, what, $200 a week, essentially?
Yeah, true. I mean, it probably doesn't cost
I don't know
insane
what-
amount of living over there. Who
I was going to
knows?
say, I don't know if the rent's
Could be
the same as San Jose, but
yeah, true. I doubt it.
that's crazy. So they're going to try and crack down on this, or they just hope people don't pay them?
As far as I can tell, it's just being addressed. So I'm sure there's people looking into it.
Just give
Can't
the
have
money.
that kind of disrespect going on.
Give the money to actual sweepers, people actually sweeping.
Yeah, sit back, observe. Take a minute out of your day. Make sure they're actually sweeping those fucking streets.
For all our Saudi Arabian listeners, I don't
We
know
know
if
we
we've
got
had
them out
any.
there.
I was gonna say I don't know if we got any downloads from there yet.
They're out there.
So we're moving on to our funny clip of the week. As we mentioned at the top of the show, we always post this on our Facebook page on Wednesdays. And this time we got what looks like I believe these guys are in the military, probably Army or something.
Yeah, maybe Air Force, who knows.
We got what I would like to call the helicopter nut slap. So I'll just let your mind go on an imagination trip with that name.
Oh, yeah, man.
That could be a good episode
We're not
name.
going to give it away.
Helicopter
give it
nut
away.
slap.
That would be a good episode name. Yeah, check it out. Somebody's in for a rude awakening.
We always post that up on Wednesdays, as we said, but it's pretty funny, so check out the Facebook page. Now we got some more suggestions for you.
Hell yeah. It's time to dive into the world of film.
You get more out of life when you go out to a movie.
Man, the return of Game of Thrones was pretty fucking dope in my mind. How about you? Did you like it?
That's all that's been playing in my head since I watched it. And by the time this episode is out, episode 2 will have been released and watched by myself.
So, we don't
I'm
want to hear
excited.
shit about spoiler alerts.
Yeah, we're going to be covering all these episodes on like the back end of it, most likely, so
Yeah. When we talk about it, you've had well over a week to fucking
catch up,
get on
motherfucker.
somebody's HBO Go, get somebody's password. Everybody's giving them out. Come on.
So we have to talk really quickly about that beginning scene with Arya as
man.
the Frey.
So dope. She apparently killed him, took his face, pretended to be him.
And that was what confused
Poisoned
me,
the
because
whole
I remember last season he died. So I was like really confused when it popped up with him in the beginning of this season. I'm like, oh, is it a flashback?
Oh shit!
Is it
I always
like
forgot he died in the last season too.
yeah, like you said? Well, like Arya killed him, so it's like
Yeah.
and like little things that
forgot
were,
where it's-
people have mentioned to me afterwards, where it's like with the whole poisoned wine thing. He said like, I'm not wasting my wine on women. He's like,
Yeah,
so that was like
spared them.
Arya saving them. Yeah, it was pretty cool, and kind of solidified why I like Arya as a character.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool to see that she can take people's like identity like that, like out on the go.
Right.
You know, like that's gonna play into like her going to King's Landing and all that.
Absolutely, and they had that little scene with Ed Sheeran.
Oh my god.
Now,
Ed Sheeran.
I've recently heard some more news on why that all happened, and I guess the actress that plays Arya is a big fan of Ed Sheeran.
Okay.
So
okay.
it sort of
she
worked
kinda
through that
requested it
way.
a little bit.
Yeah, at
Okay.
least that's the latest that I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people thought it was the other way. It was like Ed Sheeran weaseled his way on there somehow.
Yeah, like it was just like a weird move in my opinion. Like seeing like a mainstream like pop star like that implanted into a cast of like mainly international people.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
like not like from that kind of entertainment background.
There's already been people doing covers of his Hands of Gold song that he was singing. They're all
That's
up
hilarious.
on YouTube.
Oh, check them out.
Were there any scenes that stuck out to you?
Man, I love the closer, man. Daenerys coming home to the place she was born. And the fact that Jon Snow's heading there now, too.
So was that the Targaryens that owned the dragon
Yeah.
something? Or whatever, Dragon Rock or whatever the fuck it's called?
Yeah, I don't remember the fucking name. We're not here for completion of facts.
We're
of
just
that.
fans. Yeah, we're not
We're
we're
just
not
fans.
analyzing it nearly
This
as
isn't a
much as
Game
some
of Thrones
podcasts.
podcast.
Right.
Yeah, no, like, so to her fucking, yeah, we'll call it Dragon Rock Island.
There you go.
It's a sick-ass castle, dragon inscriptions all over the fucking place.
A war
A
map
really
ready
sick
to
throne.
go.
The fucking war room is sick as hell. It's a giant chessboard with everywhere labeled out.
Shit's
fucking
crazy.
cool.
Now I'm almost imagining because I remembered seeing it in the intro of the show, and I was like, "That's new. I haven't seen them go to there yet."
Yeah, just getting you into the idea of this new realm.
It's cool, and it
I
almost
believe
seems
that's
like it's
south
like
of King's Landing, right?
I'm trying to I haven't looked at a map or anything for Westeros, but like I'm imagining it's sort of halfway between
Okay.
like or what's that called, the Great Sea or whatever the fuck they sail
Yeah.
across.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because it looked like it was an
Fucking-
island.
Yeah, and apparently that's the only place you can get dragon glass, so
Gonna need those for the White Walkers.
you're gonna need that for the
So,
others.
so that brings the whole idea of like, okay, is this going to be a Jon Snow, Daenerys Stormborn fucking alliance against Cersei,
Oh man, they almost need to, really.
or will it be like a conflict between the two of them because he needs the dragon glass and she's like, "Fuck you."
You never know. She is strong-willed. I mean,
Depends
I feel
how
like
it plays
it's only in
out.
their best interest to align.
And Jon
That's what I
Snow's
wanna
pretty
see.
level-headed, and she can be too, depending.
Yeah, well, especially she has Tyrion at her side now, so she's got a good advisor.
That's true. He does know a lot about the politics of what's going on. So yeah, I'm excited for episode 2.
The only American cast member of Game of Thrones.
We only got 9 more fucking episodes.
Yeah, it goes quick, especially when it didn't come back until later on than it was supposed to. Usually it's like out in like March or whatever.
Right, and by the time this is posted, actually, it'll only be 8 more episodes. There's only 10 per season, so
We're getting
savor
there,
'em.
people. Don't spoil it for us. We gotta catch up.
So now we're moving on to our actual movie suggestions for you guys. This time we got stuff out of Korea, I believe, right?
Hell yeah. I'm gonna start off with my film from South Korea, The Man from Nowhere. One of the best Korean films you'll ever fucking see, especially if you appreciate martial arts. Now, it's not a corny martial arts that's just like constantly fighting or anything like that. There's a really good storyline in this. It's all about a retired special agents force guy. He owns a pawn shop now. He's kind of weird, alone. He's got a weird backstory, and he forms a bond with a neglected like young girl, and I would say she's like just under teenage years, and her mom's like really fucked up. She's like a stripper, and ends up like getting herself into some trouble, and then the kid gets kidnapped, and that's when this guy goes nuts to get the little girl back.
Okay.
And it just leads on this crazy vengeance trip. And some of the scenes, especially the closing scene in this movie, is so fucking brutal. It's just, it's not American. Now, you can watch this film like with subtitles, or you can get a hilarious overdubbed American English, which is pretty fun. I like.
Which one did you watch?
I've watched both of them, but
Okay.
I really enjoyed the horrible overdub. Voices that don't even like seem like the people that are like fucking
Oh no.
covering. So it's just like way mismatched.
Damn.
I love it. I love it though. It adds to it. It's like watching a whole new movie. But yeah, I would say the subtitles are probably a little bit stronger to give you an idea of like the theme of the movie as you go along without fucking it up with the funniness of the overdub.
Right. Some things might get lost that were intended by the director.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's a dark thriller with a lot of action in it. Check it out, Man from Nowhere. It's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fucking, yeah, real popular.
So the movie that I'm suggesting is also out of Korea. It's called Old Boy, and it's from 2003. It's a tale of vengeance. It starts out with a guy who is drunk and locked in the drunk tank and just acting a fool. And he gets bailed out by a friend of his and then pretty much is kidnapped off the street after that. And he's locked away for 15 years, manages to be released from there, then wants to find out who it was that kidnapped him and like took 15 years of his life.
Okay.
The director is Chan Wook Park. Some of the stars: Min Sik Choi, Ji Tae Yi. Or no, I'm probably fucking that up.
Brave man going for the names, man. That's why I didn't mention any names. I was like, I'm just gonna let the people check the movie out.
I'm trying.
They can do their own on it.
But yeah, the main actor in this, Min Sik Choi, he's really good. He's a really good actor. I especially liked him in this. There's one scene where like it's a full like fight with him with just a hammer against like 30 dudes, and it's like a cross section of a hallway, and it pans down the hallway or trucks down the hallway with him, and it's one continuous shot, and it's choreographed really cool. It's like you said, sort of along the same lines as Man from Nowhere, where it's like a thriller sort of drama thing. I really appreciate the Korean horror, and I'm starting to get into the Korean like thriller stuff as well, if we want to like kind of categorize these under that.
Yeah, there's another set of movies that like we'll probably end up covering from this like exact genre just about.
Right.
Because they do it very well.
Yeah, there's a couple others like we had talked about. I haven't seen it yet, but I Saw the Devil was another one that came to mind.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much because we're definitely gonna talk about it on the show.
Sweet.
But it's amazing, and it's fucking creepy.
So Old Boy got 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, 8.4 on IMDb, and they actually made a American version of the movie with Josh Brolin, and I heard it wasn't nearly as good as the Korean version. And I didn't watch it dubbed. I had to read along. I don't think they had a dub for it.
Yeah, that's how a lot of them are. I Saw the Devil is like that.
It's fairly long though. It's like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, that's what mine is too. It's just under 2 hours.
But yes, really good. Definitely worth watching. So that was Old Boy and Man from Nowhere. Make sure you check those out. We'll be putting out an Instagram post with the posters on them, so it's easy to identify which movies they are.
And keep up with your Game of Thrones, people. Keep up with it.
Because we're going to keep talking about it.
Now we got some sweet tweets.
The Sweet Tweets is a segment that we like to do where we highlight people on Twitter, give their Twitter account a little bit of love, and kind of tell you what's going on with them. We got a couple podcasts this time to talk about.
Hell yeah.
We're starting out with @EarHustleSQ, and the SQ is for San Quentin, because this is a podcast that is run out of San Quentin Penitentiary.
It's the only podcast out of any prison.
And they talk about prison life and prison-related things, and it's run by prisoners. And I think warden or someone has to like check all of the episodes before they go out, so at least they know someone's listening.
Yeah, it's really interesting, man. The stories they dive on.
Yeah, the hosts are really interesting.
Yeah. It really dives into like just different matters of like prison life that you wouldn't expect to dive into. Like trying to deal with being imprisoned.
Deal with picking a roommate, figuring out how to balance your life outside while you're still inside. There's a lot of cool stuff that they've covered so far.
Yeah.
So check them out @EarHustleSQ on Twitter and listen to their podcast as well. Another podcast that we wanted to highlight is Color Me Dead podcast. Now, the Color Me Dead podcast is a true crime style podcast in the sort of realm of Last Podcast on the Left or My Favorite Murder. And it is hosted by Ember and Angel. And they've been really responsive with us on social media.
Yeah, they're really nice. And they're actually sending us a little care package with some stickers. So.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see those bad boys because I'm checking them out on Twitter right now. They're cool as hell. I love their design. It's a skull with like just paint splatter all over it, like really cool colors.
Jackson
and hues.
Pollock-y kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
They're really funny. They have really good senses of humor, even though they're talking about really like fucked up things.
Yeah, dark humor's.
Gotta keep it light.
these days.
Color Me Dead, they're at Color Me Dead Pod on Twitter. Another podcast we'd like to shout out to is at Mad Scientist Pod on Twitter, and that's the Mad Scientist Podcast.
Yeah, they're really cool over there. Chris and Marie, I believe.
And yes, they also sent us stickers, which we gave them a
they're
shout out
dope.
on Instagram for that. So we wanted to make sure to feature them in the sweet tweets. So make sure to check out at Mad Scientist Pod and the Mad Scientist Podcast.
Well, we're giving out these plugs like they're candy. I mean, it's only fair that we input ours now. And I think it's the end of the show.
Definitely about that time.
So, open up your mouths and get ready to ingest the candy, people. It's a hot sale, hot sale. So, first off, what you're going to get is a Facebook and Insta. All you do is search American Slacker Podcast. You'll find out what we're up to on social media. And we're constantly putting up things like the funny video of the week, what we've covered, different news articles, all the good shit. Furthermore, check out our main hub, the website, AmericanSlackerPodcast.com. And if you want to get in touch with us, all you got to do is send us an email at AmericanSlackerPodcast@gmail.com.
And we're dropping full-size Twitter and Reddit bars, king-size motherfucker, right in the bag there. Twitter and Reddit, you can find us at AMERSLKR Podcast. That's Amber Slacker Podcast. And
But
trick
there's
or
a
treat.
string attached, right? Because, I mean, they
What's
gotta...
that? Oh yeah, they
do
gotta
something
go.
for us then.
They gotta go over and rate and review us.
Oh, okay, good.
And
That's what I
also
wanted to
tell
hear.
a friend. And if your friend is incapable of operating an iPod, send them on over to YouTube because you can find all of our new episodes there, along with the bonus episodes and interviews that we do.
If you're trying to get down and do the Thriller, check out our Spotify playlist, where you definitely won't find Thriller.
You haven't added
All
that
you
yet?
have to do is search American Slacker. No, I haven't put that in. Maybe for Halloween we'll put that
That'd
in
be
for the
funny.
month of October. All you have to do is search American Slacker Podcast on Spotify, and you'll be boogieing in no
Yeah, we got a lot of
time.
good stuff on there. You can
Hell
become
yeah.
a Patreon sponsor of the show, and that helps us out a lot because it keeps this whole thing going. We like putting out good stuff for you guys, and anything you do to support the show, we appreciate. You can get a shout out for helping us out. We'll say your name at the top of the show, whatever you want us to call you. Give yourself a nickname, that nickname you always wanted. It's yours for just $1.
Listen, we'll do anything you want
Whoa,
for $1,
okay.
people.
I didn't sign up
Anything.
for that.
What-
What we can
what?
do, though,
What?
is play
Oh.
Xbox on the fourth Saturday of each month with them.
Oh, okay.
Get an invite to
All right.
that.
You gotta settle for that for now. For now. We'll work on it. If you want to check out what the fuck we're up to on our personal lives, check out our Instagrams and our Snapchats. You can get at me on Instagram at MWG Media, and you can check out my Snapchat and also my Xbox gamer tag at MattyG from HP.
And my personal Instagram, Snapchat, gamertag, all that, you can find me at Landers the Plane.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We love every fucking one of you. And boom shakalaka, motherfuckers, because that's it.
There you go.